Hello, Catoma Indians. This is your school counselor, Whetstone, coming to you today to talk about my profession as a professional school counselor as well as a licensed professional counselor. My job title full-time, I am a professional school counselor at Catoma Elementary School, and then part-time, I work as a licensed professional counselor at Career Day Extravaganza. A little background about my education and experience. I graduated in 2006 from Jefferson Davis High School. Then I went on to the Alabama State University, completed my 4-year degree in the Bachelor of Science in Secondary Education. Upon completing that, I started my teaching career. I taught in a middle school for half of a year, and then I went on to teach in a high school setting. And I did that for 3 years, enjoyed it, to high school students, teaching them about United States history as well as world history, and talking about the political process, and which we're going through currently right now. And then in 2015, I graduated with my master's in education and school counseling. So I am certified to be a professional school counselor in the school system for grades K through 12. And then I decided, hey, I enjoy this, but I want to kind of also do some outreach and community service and kind of do some things on a larger scale so I can reach some adults as well as other adolescents. So I end up getting my associate licensed counseling license under the supervision of Marjorie Baker. And then in 2019, I received my professional licensed counselor certification or licensure. And then I ended up in 2020, currently I am a national certified counselor. So know that even in the process of all of these past years, I continue to matriculate and advance and then continue to grow in the things that I enjoy. So always remember, you want to continue to enhance yourself while you're trying to get into your next career goal. So job duties. As most of you all know, my job duties at Catoma Elementary, but I'm going to kind of go over those things, some of those things. I'm not going to hit everything. I'm just going to get a little brief description. I conduct individual, small group, and classroom counseling on how to overcome personal, social, and academic issues. I plan to conduct an annual Career Day Extravaganza showcasing a variety of professionals, in which we're currently doing right now, and I hope you are enjoying it. Decrease student conflict rates by discussing anti-bullying campaigns, and then increase student awareness and engagement by collaborating with various community stakeholders. As a licensed professional counselor, I provide psychotherapy, which is therapy based on the works of the mind rather than on medical approaches. Remember that both of these things also work together, because if you're not physically healthy, you're not going to be mentally healthy. So we want to make sure that you're mentally healthy as well as physically healthy. So you might go to your pediatrician and they may give you medication for maybe you have the flu, or you may have a common cold, those type of things. But we teach you strategies to keep you having a positive mindset as well as having positive thoughts. And so we kind of do that through coping strategies. I formulate differential diagnosis of mild to moderate mental health conditions of children, adolescents, and adults. Formulate short-term and long-term counseling plans for clients, and then identify patients with urgent mental health conditions who may have suicidal ideation or homicidal or psychotic, and make appropriate referrals to available emergency or psychiatric treatment facilities. Why did I choose this career? I typically started wanting to help others at an early age. Okay. Even in high school, I would help my friends with their homework. I would help my friends kind of talk through some things when they were having issues, maybe at home. And so I started the basics. I wanted to help others. I was inspired by my 12th grade co-op teacher, Ms. Johnny Mae Nelson, who always told me to have a positive attitude. Because when you think positive things will happen. Okay, so always have a positive attitude about life and about what the things that you can achieve. I want to help others have a different perspective on life and how to solve life issues with utilizing coping strategies to reduce emotional worries and stressors. I believe that if individuals have the support and self-motivation, they can obtain their goals in life. Remember, there's no shame in asking for help because there are individuals like me and others who are out there to help you. What is my favorite thing about my job? I truly love counseling. It's one of my passions. I have compassion about it. It's one of those things that I always tell people to seek when they're going through difficult times. So I love that I get to work with each and every one of you every day. I love that I get to teach you about strategies and improve your academic, personal, social, and career development. I love to help others learn new behaviors or responses to situations that can help them better achieve their goals in life. And I love that I'm able to assist you with anything, which is truly my why. I may not have the resources. I can definitely connect some other people and connect with them, collaborate with them in getting those things that you may need. How did I use what I learned in school? Character is the most significant thing in my job as a professional counselor, as a licensed professional counselor, which involves being resilient, also being honest, because when you speak to me, you want to make sure that I keep your information confidential, cooperation, as well as persevering, because my job is not easy. Sometimes I hear things that I don't want to hear. Sometimes my workload is very extreme, but sometimes I have to persevere and have some tenacity to get through those things, and what you all are doing right now in virtual learning. Also, I have to be dependable. I always want people to be able to depend on you. You don't want to always fall through things. You want to make sure that you're dependent upon. And I also do a lot of collaborations, even in the school setting, as well with outside therapy. I use writing and grammar daily with sending correspondence with adults and medical professionals. I use technology daily in both professionals in delivering classroom counseling and seeing clients via telehealth. I use mathematics to calculate data, build charts and schedules, and I use social studies to build relationships and understand cultural differences. Because remember, we're not all the same. If we were, we would be robots. So knowing those cultural differences helps us to see better plans for folks in their lives. I am going to show you a video on the day in the life of a school counselor. I think it was featured maybe 2 years ago. So you'll get an idea what I do in doing my full-time job. And some of you all may see yourselves, and some of the stuff is still in my office at the heart behind you. It was a grief lesson that we did with a group of students. So we do things. I do keep some of those memorabilials in my office, so we can just kind of reflect on things. So you might see some of your younger selves in this video.
I get here in the morning, I try to prep a little bit, try to get here before everybody else, so that I can get my mind together before dealing with the day. Sometimes I help students with the announcements in the mornings, and then I may go out to the hallway, speak to children, or I might have a parent who may come in and say, hey, we had this issue happen last night, can we have a conversation with our baby? My second objective is to do classroom guidance, which I love the most. This is the opportunity for me to go in and talk about life skills that deals with the student's social and emotional development. So when I call you up, you have to tell a person something kind, okay? So I'm going to start. This month, we're doing Kindness Month. So this week is Random Act of Kindness Week. So I teach the students to give back, just to be nice. Those small, simple things that helps them develop in the long run as adults. I asked Ashley to ask Gracie, how did she feel how you all treated her when she came from Mexico? And she said she felt what? She felt good, okay? Our student council members are giving gift bags to our school community. So that's our cafeteria workers, our custodians, our bus drivers, so they can understand, hey, yeah, they do this service every day, but they must be appreciated as well. One of the joys is that when they argue with me, and I might say, hey, I can't solve this issue, but you all want to figure that out. And when they come back to me, so we thought out each other, this is what we came up with. That lets me know what I'm teaching in classroom guidance, that it's working. But I have enjoyed it. I love my hugs in the afternoons when I'm on car duty or bus duty. I love my, hey, Miss Whetstone. I love Miss Whetstone is here when I come in for classes, so they know that they enjoy me coming. So that makes me know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
So I hope you enjoyed that lesson on my career. This was an opportunity for you to figure out what I love. And I hope that you find out what you love to do as you listen to these other professionals in their careers and their professions. And then you decide what you want to do when you grow up. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.
I'm John Merrill. As your 53rd Secretary of State, I'm very excited to be invited to be a part of the Montgomery Public Schools Career Extravaganza. One of the things that they asked me to do is to talk to you about my work, my job, how I got to the point where I am today, and what those challenges are that we face each and every day in this role as your Secretary of State. I grew up in a small town on the northeast side of the state. If you ever go through Wetumpka and go up Highway 9, it'll take you to my hometown, Heflin, Alabama. I grew up just like many of you, being active as a small child and playing ball in the community, having fun with my friends, being involved in different activities like scouting. As a matter of fact, I matriculated to the scouting process and became an Eagle Scout. When I finished high school, I went to school at the University of Alabama to learn more and to be better prepared for my future. While a student at the University of Alabama, I was elected by my peers to the Student Senate, to become Vice President of the student body, and then to become SGA President at the University of Alabama. I was very excited to have that opportunity to be able to make changes on our campus in that role as SGA President. When I completed my time at the university, I began an internship at the Chamber of Commerce of West Alabama in the area of governmental affairs, working with our city councils in Tuscaloosa County, working with the county commission, our legislative delegation, as well as our congressional delegation in Washington. That enabled me to develop a deeper appreciation and stronger skills as I was trying to move into this particular role. Now, I didn't go directly from that position to this one, but one of the things that I was able to do is to learn how I could be more effective at communicating. I sold advertising through a telemarketing company called Randall Publishing Company, selling advertisements to people all across the nation by picking up the phone and making more than 100 phone calls a day, trying to convince those individuals to buy a publication, an advertisement in the publication, that would enable them to help sell their products to other people that they would never see, but would be introduced and exposed to their product because of the way we would place that ad for them. Shortly after that, where I worked for 2 years, I went to the Tuscaloosa County Industrial Development Authority to become the assistant director. My job was to help our existing industry and business be better prepared for success. But I also helped to recruit new business and industry to Tuscaloosa County. The largest project that I ever had the opportunity to work on was the Mercedes project, which we announced on September the 30th, 1993. That changed the dynamics for the future of the great state of Alabama. To that point, we didn't have any automotive investment in the state of Alabama, only a few small suppliers in certain pockets of our state. Now, Alabama is the #2 automotive manufacturer in the United States behind the great state of Michigan. So we're proud of that and what it has meant for our state. Went back to the Chamber of Commerce shortly after that, helped the Mercedes families relocate to the United States from Germany as they were trying to assimilate into our communities so they could be effective and impactful citizens here. But the next job that I had was the one that I enjoyed the most before I became your Secretary of State. And that was serving as the spokesperson for the Tuscaloosa County school system. I also coordinated all the after-school care programs, and I worked there from December the 1st, 1994 to December the 31st, 2010. That opportunity enabled me to be able to make a positive difference for all of the schools in Tuscaloosa County, all of the employees in the Tuscaloosa County schools, and more importantly, all the students that were enrolled in the Tuscaloosa County school system. That was a great opportunity for me to learn more about our community and how we could be effective at meeting the needs of all of those people that we served. Now, in 2010, I became a candidate for the Alabama legislature. And when I was elected on November the 2nd, 2010, I had already made a commitment to our board that I would resign my position after I was elected. And I left the job December 31st, 2010. And I couldn't get a job for about 6 weeks. I went to see different people. I talked to different people about what I could do in addition to serving in the legislature. And many people were reluctant to hire someone that was serving in the legislature because of the time commitment that's involved as a member of the legislature. So I ended up working for a bank, First Federal Bank, which is a local community bank in Tuscaloosa County. As a business development officer, I tried to help them get new investments and new deposits in their bank, opening new accounts and things of that nature. And so I worked there from February the 15th, 2011 until February the 16th, 2015. And on February the 19th, 2015, I became the 53rd Secretary of State because I had been elected to that role on November the 4th, 2014. This position has given me the opportunity to interact with people all across our great state. As a matter of fact, in the fall of 2012, I started traveling all around Alabama. I went to all 67 counties 2 times in 2013 and 2014, actually putting me in a position to start something I continue today. This will be the 9th time in the 8th year in a row that I've been to all 67 counties. That has enabled me to get to know our people very well. As a matter of fact, in 2019, I made 609 unique visits to our 67 counties. This year, because of the coronavirus, I've been a little restricted. Now, we're actually filming this a little bit before the week of Career Week. So I will tell you that as of today, I've been to 56 of our counties, of the 56 of the 67 counties, for a total of 250 plus visits. So I look forward to visiting the rest of them before the end of the year to continue to get to know our people. But let me tell you a little bit about our job and what we do here. See, the Office of the Secretary of State is the oldest office in the history of the state. Alabama had a Secretary of State before we were a state. In 1818, there was a man named Henry Hitchcock who was appointed by our 5th president, James Monroe, to serve as Alabama's first Secretary of State. He did a great job in 1818 and 1819. But on December 14, 1819, Alabama became the 22nd state admitted to the Union. And since that time, we've had 48 individuals who served as Alabama's 53 Secretaries of State. And I'm the 53rd Secretary of State. Our code and constitution, which are our governing laws, give more than 1,000 assigned duties and responsibilities to the person that holds this position. Those include, but are not limited to, the things that we've chosen to concentrate on for the last 5 years, 9 months that I've been in this job. They are elections, which includes voter registration, voter participation, campaign finance reform, campaign finance review, election administration, all the things related to the elections process. Then business and corporations, licensing, trademarking. If you start a new business in our state, you have to go through our office before you can ever hire someone or pay 1 cent of tax. Last but not least, international adoptions. And we've chosen these 3 areas because these 3 areas, more than any others, directly impact the lives of Alabama families on a daily basis. We want to be responsive, respectful, and accountable to our people. When you are trying to decide what you want to do and where you want to go and what you want to be when you grow up, I think it's important for you to make sure you are introduced to as many diverse and different types of jobs as you can possibly consider. I wanted to be the Secretary of State since I was 14 years old. My dad was the circuit clerk and probate judge of our county when I was growing up. And so I grew up in the courthouse for the first 18 years of my life. And having the opportunity to see judges and to see lawyers and other elected officials told me what path I wanted to take. that's when I decided I wanted to be in the legislature and I wanted to be the Secretary of State. And I have other goals and ambitions as well. But what I want you to do is to determine what you want to be, not because of what your mom and dad want you to be, or what your aunt or uncle wants you to be, or your brother and sister, or your friends, but what you want to do. And what you need to concentrate on is being a good student, so you will not be limited by the opportunities that you have because you made poor choices when you were in elementary school, middle school, or high school. Make good choices today. Prepare for whatever future awaits you. And then when you get ready to pursue your path, you'll know that you'll be able to be successful because you've chosen it, because it was important to you, because you were a good reader and you became a good leader and you made a positive difference. Keep working hard. Let me know how I can be helpful to you, and my best wishes to you and your family.
Good morning, Catoma Elementary. My name is Dr. Jamel Young, and I'm a pharmacist. First, let me say, I miss seeing you guys so much. This will be my 4th year doing this, I believe. I started in 2017, so we did it 2017 in January. I'll never forget, it was my first time doing it, and it was the day of inauguration, meaning that's the day the president got sworn in. So I can remember that because now it's time for us to vote, right? Or I'm recording this and it's time for us to vote. So it's time for us to get a new president or, vote the current one back in. We'll see what happens. But I miss seeing you guys. I miss seeing all of your smiling faces and answering all your wonderful questions. So now I just have to read the questions. Remember when I used to make you read the questions and then I would answer them? So now it's me. My turn. I'm going to read the questions. I'm going to answer them. But hopefully you'll follow along with me. So the first question is, what does my average day look like? Well, it's kind of an interesting question right now. Because the way everything has changed with COVID, how we don't see patients a lot anymore. Where I was working at the clinic, I would fill prescriptions. I wouldn't see patients. What we would do is we'll fill the prescriptions, put them in boxes, and ship them off to your house. So you would get a small box at your door, and then that would be your medicine. Well, before that, people would come in, give me prescriptions. Doctors would call me. I still get doctor calls. And I would fill the prescriptions, talk to the patient, ask them if they have any questions. If they did, we could talk about their medication, and I would give them the medication, make sure they have the right medication. And when we say medication, you guys see these around your house sometimes? This is medicine, okay? It's scribbled out because it's personal information, and we don't give out personal information, do we? That would be a HIPAA violation. Anyway, well, this is what I would do. I would count the medication. Like these are, I don't know if you can see that. You can't see that. But there are tablets in here. You can hear them jiggling. Count it. Put it in a bottle. I wouldn't touch it. Make sure it had the right information on it. Make sure this read the same way the prescription would read that the doctor sent to me. And make sure there were no drug interactions. So if the patient was taking another medication, making sure that they work well together. Because sometimes medications fight and they don't work well together in the body. So me being the pharmacist, I have to make sure that everybody plays together in the body right. Okay? And if it doesn't play in the body together right, I don't give it to the patient. That's about the simplest way I can explain that. The next question is, what's the best part of my job? This is the answer I always give you because it's the absolute honest truth. You are the best part of my job. I love more than anything talking to young people, seeing my pharmacy babies, seeing kids come through the pharmacy or even come into Catoma to talk to you guys, because you lighten my day. You make me so happy. We get to talk about so much, and you teach me and I get to teach you. So it's my most favorite part of my job. I wouldn't miss it for anything. It's the absolute best. The hardest part of my job. The hardest part of my job is I have to work with a lot of sick people. And sometimes I see people on the hardest day of their lives. And sometimes there's nothing I can do to make it better, you know? That's the hardest part, because I really, really, really like to help people. Again, it's just one of my most favorite things, to help people. And it's really difficult when you like to help people and you're unable to help somebody just because circumstance, depending on what it is. Like if they're so sick that we have to wait for them to get better or wait for the medication to work, or if they're in pain and it's nothing that I can do to help that. So that's the real hard part of my job. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me back up. Let me talk about my schooling. So I'm a pharmacist, right? And you know what that means? I had to go to school for like a really, really long time. So of course, elementary school, where you guys are, that's where I decided I wanted to be a pharmacist. My mom got sick, and then a pharmacist helped her. And when the pharmacist helped her, I felt like she helped me. And I thought to myself, if I could help kids the way the pharmacist just helped me and my mom, I would do it for the rest of my life. So here I am doing it for the rest of my life. I went through elementary, middle school, high school, and I did really well in math and science. That was a part that I really had to study really hard in college. Speaking of college, I went to the Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, Florida A&M. Rattlers. See that? Shameless plug. Okay. And I went to pharmacy school there also. So I went straight through. I only have one degree, and that's my doctorate. But it took me a long time. It was like 7 years. I know. But well worth it. Well worth it. I had to do a lot of studying in math and science. So I do a lot of adding. We talk about a lot of different chemicals and scientific interactions that happen inside of the body. Some that happen outside of the body. Because your body is science. The way your body works, it's nothing but science. It's physical science, it's biology, it's chemistry. It's all those things put together. So you have to learn all of those things. And while it sounds hard, it can be challenging, but you know, you guys are smart. You can do anything, right? Right. So that's what my schooling was. When I got out of school, I had to work different jobs, or my last part of school, I had to work different jobs in pharmacy. So I've worked in a hospital. I worked in a nuclear pharmacy where we had to wear big gloves and we couldn't touch the medication because it was radioactive. So it could like make you glow, or it could make you really sick. Either way, you didn't want to do either one of those things. You don't want to glow if you're not supposed to be. Like my nose is glowing right now, but it wasn't that kind of glow. It was like if you came in contact with something that was really, really dangerous. Okay. So I had to work in places like that. I had to work in hospitals. I had to work in grocery stores. Like I had to work in a Publix grocery store pharmacy just so I could see the different parts of pharmacy. I had to work in surgery. I've actually been inside of a couple of surgeries because pharmacists have to make up the medication for you to go to sleep before surgery. So there are so many different things that you could do. I had to do all of those things before I finished pharmacy school. What schooling and experience did I have to go through for my current job? Well, guys, you'll be the first to hear this, but I've started my own little company. It's a management company. It's called Your Favorite Pharmacist Consulting Firm. So that has been the full experience of my whole career. I've been a pharmacist for 12 years, and I've been talking to people for way longer than that about their medication throughout school. So I get to talk to people about their medication, make sure there are no interactions, make sure they're taking it correctly. My first patient, crazy enough, is my mom. She's kind of sick right now, and she's had a surgery. So I've had to go to the doctor with her, make sure that she's taking her medication right, make sure that the medication that the doctor is giving her isn't interacting with her other medications or she's not sensitive to it. And it's been quite a job, but all my experience has made me really capable of that. So right now I'm helping my mom, and I'm being her consultant pharmacist. Soon I will be a lot of other people's consultant pharmacist. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I miss you guys. I think that's my time. I've probably talked to you way too much, right? But you know, usually when we're in the classroom, we're doing pharmacy math and we're writing prescriptions for the teacher. And I can't wait to get back to you. I can't wait to see you guys next year. And I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation. I miss you. I am proud of you. I want you guys to continue to do the absolute best that you possibly can, because one day you'll be presenting on your career, and I can't wait to hear about it. Okay, guys. Have a good one. Good morning, guys. One more time, Dr. Young here. Remember, I'm the pharmacist. I forgot to tell you some important things, and I just had to make a quick little video to remind you of these things. I know you already know them. We'll just go back over them, okay? First thing we're going to talk about is the do's and don'ts of medication, right? First thing that we need to know, don't take anything that's not prescribed to you. So if you see a prescription medication, be it tablets, a cream, nasal sprays, even cough syrups, you know, sitting around the house, because sometimes they're around the house. Don't take them. Do not take them. They can make you really sick if you're not sick, or if you are sick and you take too much of it, or if it's not something for you, it can make you really, really, really sick. So first things first, don't take anything that's not prescribed to you or you're not supposed to be taking. You know what you're not supposed to be doing, right? You do. But we're just here to remind you. All right. So that's number one. There are even things on your prescription to tell you that this medication is illegal for you to take it if it's not prescribed to you. Yeah. So let's try not to do that. Second thing, we're at an age, kindergarten through 5th grade, where you know, you might see something and you say, oh, I feel sick. I need to take this. Again, don't do that. Ask a parent, ask a guardian, ask a grown-up. Tell a grown-up how you're feeling. If you're not feeling well, and then they'll be able to do the right thing, okay? So you don't take it in your hands to take medication. Stay away from your grandma, your mom, your dad, your aunt, your uncle, even your siblings, their medications, because they don't belong to you. Okay? That's number one. Number two, when you do take your medication, read the instructions on it. Like when the grown-up is helping you, just say, hey, can I read that too? Because one, reading is fundamental. Read everything you possibly can get your hands on. But two, it helps you know what you're supposed to be doing. So even if you're not taking it by yourself, maybe to help remind your parents, like, hey, I'm supposed to take this every 4 to 6 hours if it's an antibiotic or something for pain. And so maybe they forgot. Maybe you could set a timer and say, hey, Mom, it's time for me to take my meds. Right? Okay. All right. So we're going to read. We're not going to take anything that's not prescribed to us. And we're going to ask an adult. Those are what you're supposed to do with the medication. Now, there are some exceptions to every rule. Some of us have asthma, right? And we might have to carry around our pump before we exercise, or if we're having like an asthma attack, right? And then those times, you know when you're supposed to take your medicine. Hopefully your parent or your pharmacist has taught you how to take it. And next time you go to the pharmacy and you pick up your asthma medication, ask the pharmacist if they can show you how you're supposed to use your pump, just to make sure you're using it correctly. You can show them how you use it, and then they can say, yeah, that's right, or no, that's not how you do it. Now, I'm sure you're supposed to talk to your nurse, but there are times when maybe you're out playing with your friends and you feel an asthma attack coming on, or you feel a little wheezy. Those times you can take your medication by yourself, especially when it's no adult around and that's an emergency. But you will know how to do that. Everybody's not asthmatic. You know, everything is a little different for everybody. So sometimes we have to tailor these instructions, right? So your parent will teach you how to use your pump, or your pharmacist or your doctor. And then when you have to carry your pump around, you can take your medicine, right? We don't want anybody having an asthma attack. That's pretty much it. But I also want to tell you that medication can come in so many different forms. So we have to be careful. So I know when we think about medicine, we think about tablets, but it can be creams. It can come in a cream where you might have to use it for your eczema, or for a rash, or for other things. Sometimes scars. There are also nasal sprays. Did you see that? Yeah. Okay. Nasal spray. Sometimes you can use that if your nose is stuffy, or if you're congested, or you have allergies and runny nose. There are liquids, and liquids, you can use that for a lot of different stuff. There are cough syrups. There are liquid antibiotics. There are liquid seizure medications if you suffer from like epilepsy or epileptic seizures. There's so many different things. There are liquids for ADHD. There are liquids and tablets for ADHD, for pain medication, you name it. So just because you don't see a tablet doesn't mean it's not medication. So whenever you come across something that looks like it's in like a medicine bottle, or it looks like it's in a medicine bottle, or if it looks like it's in a nasal spray, or even in a cream tube, ask a grown-up, okay? Don't just go out squeezing it and rubbing it on you, because that can be dangerous also. Don't just go spraying it in your nose, because that can be dangerous also. Don't take it, chew it like candy. It's none of that. So always be very, very careful when it comes to medications, because while they can help you, and that's what we want them to do, they can also be kind of harmful. Well, very harmful if they're used incorrectly. And that's anything. Anything used the wrong way. Anything used the wrong way can be harmful. Okay? So we got to know how to use it. That's why we're here. That's why I'm your pharmacist. Okay, guys. So it's good talking to you again. Happy to see you guys again. And I will see you next year. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Hello to the students of Catoma Elementary. My name is Delbert Madison, and I am so glad to be taking a part of this virtual career day with you all. Certainly hate that we can't do it in person, but we still want to be able to share some information with you all. And as I go through this process, I will try to read the questions that were provided to me and try to answer those for you all, and I'm going to share a few pictures along the way. So first we'll start with, what do I do every day? I currently work in banking, as you can see a picture of a bank right there. And the name of my bank is Service First Bank. And so the question is, what led me to this particular career? First, I would have to say that years ago, we had a family friend who was a business major in college, and I spent a lot of time around him and was really excited listening to him talk about his career in business and in sales. So that kind of sparked something in me and helped me decide that's the route that I would like to go as well. So with that being said, I am a proud graduate of, as you can see there, Alabama State University. I have a degree in business with an emphasis in marketing. And so I will say that going through college was a great experience for me. It was a process that helped me develop, become a little bit sharper with my skills, my knowledge, and it prepared me for the workforce. So now the next question is, explain your role and what skills are required for your position. So with my role at the bank, one of the things I do is I meet with customers on a routine basis. I won't say every day, but we do talk to customers daily, and it may be via telephone or through our email system. But as far as the skills that I've had to develop, one is being able to communicate both verbally and non-verbally. Of course, in school, we were taught computer skills, so we had to do a lot of computer work, spent many hours in the lab doing assignments, trying to complete those tasks for my classes. But those are just a few things that we've had to do, had to develop through the years from a skill set. Certainly, one thing that you have to be able to do is to be able to work together as a team, to work with team members. And it's just so much better when you can do things as a team and work together as a group. As we were told many years ago in our sporting careers, when we played basketball, that there's no I in team. And with team together, everyone achieves more. So we're extremely proud that we can be in that type of environment, that type of work environment here at the bank. So my next question here, it says, what does an average day look like for you? An average day for me is usually different, which is, I think, is part of the fun piece of my job. No 2 days are alike. But in general, of course, like I said earlier, we do a lot of communicating with our customers. Some days we're out in their offices meeting with them. And the thing that we do is we try to provide solutions for our customers or our client base. And one of the things that you all may be familiar with is the use of online banking. So any customer that we deal with at the bank who needs to look at their account activity, who needs to move money electronically, we're the ones who set them up. We train them how to use the system. And as you can probably imagine, that's really, really beneficial for the customer side of things, because they need to know what type of money they have in their account in case they need to transfer money to people that they're doing business with. So that's one of the vital roles in what we do every day. We help our customers from a reporting standpoint. We make sure they're provided reports daily to help them manage their cash flow as well. Another thing that we do in this role is, and I will use my picture here. You can see this is a picture of a boardroom. We go out and actually have meetings. And we meet in boardrooms, and it's a nice setup. It's fun because I get to go out and help customers and help them achieve their financial goals. Next question is, what is the best part of your job? Well, I think I may have just spilled the beans on that. One of the best parts of my job is being able to go out and help customers solve their cash flow issues, help them move money electronically, help them report or have the information reported to them in a timely manner so they can make sound decisions financially. I think that's one of the best parts of my job because I'm helping problem solve. Next question, what is the hardest part of your job? I think the hardest part of the job sometimes is when we deal with issues, you can't solve them right away sometimes, and it's a process that you have to go through. And sometimes I want to go ahead and get things done right away, but that's not necessarily how it's always going to be. So that means that we have to develop some patience. So while you all are in the classroom, you're sitting there, you're listening to your teachers, you have to be able to develop some patience too, because you will need that throughout your career. So again, that will probably be the hardest part of my job. What advice would I give students finding a career they love? I would say one thing that you all want to do is whatever your passion is, you should follow your passion, because when you follow your passion, it makes the job so much easier to do. And to me, although I come to work every day, it doesn't feel like I'm coming to work because it's something that I enjoy doing. And like I said earlier, I enjoy going out working with customers and helping them solve their cash flow needs. So with that, I'm going to show you a picture. This is the position that you want to be in. You want to be able to say that you love your job, not that you hate your job, as it shows in this picture. You want to be able to show that you love your job. And again, that makes going to work so much easier. The last question, it says, what advice would you give to students for an interview? I would say for you all, as you prepare for your future, just as you do your classwork, make sure that you are prepared. Make sure that you are prepared. Whatever that takes, meaning you have to study for tests. You can't just walk in and take a test. You have to study, which means you have to prepare yourself for that test. So I will say to you all, just make sure you are prepared for whatever job you're going to interview for. Do your homework, do your research on it before you go out and do an interview. And last thing I will say is, you got this. Simply, you got this. Whatever you want to do, you put your mind to it, you can do it. It may take a little bit of work, but as my professor used to always say, if it was easy, anybody could do it. So accept the challenges, don't run away from them, and again, you got this. With that being said, I think I will wrap up, and thank you all so much for allowing me to share some time with you. I can't wait till we get back together in person, and then we can eat when we finish talking. But I'm proud of you all. I want you all to continue to work hard and be successful. Again, thank you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hi, Catoma students. My name is Latasha Merchant, and I'm a civil engineer. I chose civil engineering because civil engineers are responsible for lots of things that help society to function properly, like making your drinking water safe, designing roads, bridges, and buildings. Civil engineers may work at construction sites as well as in offices like I do. Here in my office, I work as a roadway design engineer for the Alabama Department of Transportation. That means I help to plan and design roads, So what were the steps to becoming an engineer? Going to school, elementary, middle, and high school, and getting involved in science and math activity groups that focus on science, technology, engineering, and math. Organizations like NSBE Junior, where you can do hands-on science projects and activities. And of course, the next step was going to college and picking one of the many engineering fields that interest you. In case you are interested in anything science, technology, engineering, or math related, Nesby Junior meets during the school.
Guys, just want to say hello to my favorite elementary school, Catoma Elementary, and a few years ago I actually went there too, so it's a special to share with you today. I'm joined by Angelicia. She's going to share a little bit in just a second, but my name is John Bowman. I'm the executive director at Hope Inspired Ministries. And you know, we are a nonprofit organization that helps low-skilled or people having troubles finding work. We help them sharpen their personal skills so that they can go out, and then we actually help place them on a job. So we help them find steady income through their employment. And you know, really how I came here, I went to Catoma Elementary and read you guys when I was at the police department. So for 26 years I worked at the police department, and oftentimes found that in crime, poverty sometimes was the underlying issue. So we would try to help them get employment. We found Hope Inspired Ministries did that really, really well. So we would refer individuals to here. And then I spent many years coming by seeing Angelicia and the staff prior to me making the transition of retiring and coming over here. So just a little bit about what I do as the executive director. I get to go around and tell the life change stories of our students and really everything that the staff does. And this is kind of why I got Angelicia here today. She's going to tell you firsthand what an average day looks like at Hope Inspired Ministries. So, Angelicia?
Well, John, that's really not an average day that we have. Every day something new involves. It may be something off the grid. Students may have a problem with the transportation. The buses might break down. They may have problems in their personal lives. And there's just not an average day that we have here. We take each day as it comes.
Oh, yeah. There's no average.
No.
Angelicia, what is the best part of working at Hope Inspired Ministries?
The best part of working at Hope Inspired Ministries is the transformation, seeing the transformation in the students, seeing them in their brokenness when they come to us, and seeing them at the end when they walk across the stage to get their diploma, and just seeing that look of satisfaction and seeing the resilience that they have, and ultimately seeing them being resourceful and just being able to depend upon themselves. And that right there is payment in and of itself.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And what would you consider the hardest part of this job?
The hardest part of the job is maybe starting off with 15 or 20 students and maybe finishing with 7 or 8 students, because everybody is not ready for the life change that we offer them. It may be due to addiction. It may be that they're just not ready. But the hardest part is not seeing everyone complete the program, because you want everybody to complete the program.
Yeah, well, good. Any last minute words you may tell the students at Catoma Elementary as to why they should come to work at a nonprofit when they get out of school?
Well, once you get out of school, I think that working for a nonprofit is so valuable, because it's one thing to be able to see people and see them in their different stages of life, but it's another to be able to reach out and help that person. Sometimes it's important to get involved, because a lot of times we're the only help that people have. We're the only resources that they have. So you never know the difference or the impact that you can make in a person's life. So you may be the change that someone needs. It might just be a smiling face. It may just be a shoulder to cry on. But we're in this not because we get paid lots of money, but because we genuinely want to see people in a better place.
Yeah, well, thank you, Angelicia, for that. And you know, one of the questions they asked me was, what is the long-term career goals? And you know, I love what Hope Inspired Ministry does. I see the value in the community. And you know, Hope Inspired Ministry started in 2012 in Montgomery, and you know, we expanded to Birmingham in 2017, to the Foundry in Bessemer in 2019. And this year, not far from Catoma, we expanded to Lowndes County. where we opened up another campus. And then I'm excited about next year. We're going to start a campus at Mount Meigs Youth Facility. So where do I see us going? We want to go to new areas so that we can help more people. So that's kind of the career goal. And you heard some advice from Angelicia on finding a career such as nonprofit. So I just want to thank you, Angelicia, for sharing with my school, Catoma Elementary.
Go Catoma.
That's right, Catoma. So thank you to everyone at Catoma, and hopefully next year I can come share in person for Career Day. So thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Catoma students. My name is Latasha Merchant, and I'm a civil engineer. I chose civil engineering because civil engineers are responsible for lots of things that help society to function properly, like making your drinking water safe, designing roads, bridges, and buildings. Civil engineers may work at construction sites as well as in offices like I do. Here in my office, I work as a roadway design engineer for the Alabama Department of Transportation. That means I help to plan and design roads, So what were the steps to becoming an engineer? Going to school, elementary, middle, and high school, and getting involved in science and math activity groups that focus on science, technology, engineering, and math. Organizations like NSBE Junior, where you can do hands-on science projects and activities. And of course, the next step was going to college and picking one of the many engineering fields that interest you. In case you are interested in anything science, technology, engineering, or math related, NSBE Junior meets during the school year every third Sunday, virtually. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Judge Tiffany McCord. I'm a district judge in Montgomery County, and I want to introduce you to some of the ladies who help in the courtroom. First, I want to introduce you to my judicial assistant, Hillary Claiborne. And then I want to introduce you to Deputy Scott, who keeps the order in the courtroom. And then Attorney Mashara McCall, who is a defense attorney with the Public Defender's Office, who every day comes into this courtroom to defend those who need help. Together, we work to make sure justice is served in Montgomery County. Together, we hear cases. Together, we make decisions. Together, based upon the evidence and the law, we ensure that justice is had in this courtroom. So I want to tell you briefly about how my day goes. When I come into the courtroom, there's a Deputy Scott, who usually say, "All rise," and everyone stands, and I come in and I say, "You may be seated." And Attorney McCall, she'll then say, "This is my defendant," and she'll tell me why I should do one thing or the other, and then there'll be a prosecutor on the other side who will lay out their case, and then I'll make a decision as to whether or not that person's guilty or innocent based upon the evidence and the law. If it's a civil case, I'll have a defendant on one side and a plaintiff on the other, and then they'll tell me what the issue is and what problems they're having that they can't resolve. And I will then make a ruling to help them resolve those problems. And that's basically what my day looks like. Now, how did I get here? You see, in order to be a judge, you have to do a few things. One, you have to do really well in high school. You have to complete high school. Two, you go to college and you get a degree. I got my degree from AUM in history. And then three, I went to law school. And I went to Faulkner Law right here in Montgomery. So I went to college and law school right here in Montgomery, and now I'm serving as a judge in Montgomery. And why do I say that? Because you can do it too. Anything I've done, you can do. And so after being an attorney for many years, I decided that I wanted to help people in a different way. I wanted to make sure that people got a fair chance. I wanted to make sure that they were heard. And so I ran for judge. And yes, judges in Montgomery County are elected. And in 2018, Montgomery County elected me to be the district judge with 80% of the vote. So I thank you, Montgomery County. Unlike federal judges, state judges are elected for terms. My term is 6 years, so every 6 years I have to run again. Federal judges, their terms are lifetime terms, and they never have to run again. They're there until they die or until they choose to retire. And so, let me give you my best piece of advice. If you want to be a judge like me, or want to be successful, or want to be anything in life, work hard and don't believe what people say about you. Believe that you are worthwhile. Believe that you have something special, because we all see it and we want you to see it too. Don't believe what the media says. Don't believe what you see on television or Instagram or on Snapchat. Believe that you can be successful and there's nothing that you can't do. Because once you do that, you're on the right track. When you believe in yourself, when there's tough days, you keep pressing forward. When you believe in yourself, when obstacles come your way, you keep pressing forward. When you believe in yourself and others say you can't do it, you keep pressing forward. And that's what I want you to do. That's the piece of advice that has sustained me and that has led me here. So what's the outlook for my job? So in 6 years, I'll have to run again, and hopefully Montgomery County will see fit to elect me again. Hopefully I have done a good job. Hopefully they believe that justice was had in my courtroom. And I want to continue to serve. I think being a judge is not about wearing the robe. It's not about this gavel. It's about making sure that people are taken care of. And that's why I wanted to be a judge, because I believe in people and I believe in you. So, thank you for listening. And hey, you can do it. The power is in you. Have a great day.
Good morning. My name is Jamal Thomas, and I'm the publisher of Gumptown Magazine. Gumptown Magazine is a local business directory, and we help promote and advertise small and minority-owned businesses in the city of Montgomery and surrounding areas. I am the CEO and the publisher of the business, so I am in charge of everything, and I run everything. What led me to starting my own business, I used to work for another magazine called Montgomery Spotlight Magazine. I stayed there for a year selling print advertisements. Then I worked for a small radio station in Wetumpka selling radio advertisements. That station switched format and I lost my customers, so I saw an opportunity to start my own business because I wanted to make my own money. And yes, I had to go to school to understand and learn about marketing and advertising. I graduated from Glenville High School in Cleveland, Ohio. I moved here in 2002 to go to Alabama State University, and I went to school for marketing. I marched in the band and I graduated, and I also got my master's from South University. My role, I manage day-to-day operations. I go out and about and promoting the business, trying to talk to different business owners and tell them about what we do for the community, and try to get different businesses to advertise in our magazine. We go to different events. We cover different events. You know, we go to city council meetings. We go to school board meetings. We go to concerts. We go to dinners. We go to different breakfasts. We go to different networking events, and everywhere we go to football games, basketball games. So it's a lot that we do in our job. Our job is fun. We're always eating, having fun, seeing people, meeting new people. So that's what we do on our job. And my job is really just to make sure that the magazine is printed. We print 4 times a year, 4 issues a year. So I have to make sure the magazine is printed, that the stories are written, that everything is in order for the magazine to look like this. Work with my graphic designer and make sure that the money is coming in. The best part of my job that I love is meeting new people. I love meeting people. People are fun. And another best part of my job is I can work anytime I want to work. If I don't feel like working, I don't have to work. And when I want to work, I do work. But if I want to make money, I make sure I work. The hardest part of my job is being self-disciplined. You know, I don't have to go punch in no time clock because I work for myself. I'm my own boss. So I have to be disciplined, I have to be motivated, I have to have integrity, and I have to be honest with people. And if I don't feel like getting up, sometimes I have to get up because no one is telling me to get up. No alarm clock, my mom, my dad, my grandmother, nobody. So that's the hardest part of my job. An average day of my job, waking up, checking emails, posting stuff on social media because we have a social media page, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Then going out, visiting different businesses, going to different businesses. And if it's an event to go to, I go to an event. So I'm out and about. I don't sit in no box. And I work from home. You can see my home. My long-term career goals, I want to be the press secretary of the White House, the first African-American male to be a press secretary of the White House. And what advice would I give to students in finding the career that you love? Find something that you love. If you like doing it, if you're happy doing it, if it makes you happy, if it makes you feel good, and if you love doing it and it makes you feel better, do it. And if you want to be for a job interview, make sure you are professional. Make sure you are dressed correctly. Wear a suit. Dress professionally. Don't have no baggy clothes. Use eye contact. Look people in the eye. Be honest. Talk articulately. And smile. Don't look evil. Make sure your hair is done and brushed. Make sure your clothes are ironed. And make sure that you be respectful. I'm excited and I'm glad. I wish I could be with y'all face to face because I know I have some goodies to give out to you all. And one thing about marketing and advertising and working in the news, you're everywhere and people always depend on you. So people are always calling on you. So you always stay in the know. I know everything. People call me about everything and tell me everything because they want me to promote it. So I love my job and I love education, and you can't go nowhere without an education. And one thing about an education is something that no one can take away from you. If you have an education, can nobody take that away from you. So once you have an education, you got everything you need. Thank y'all so much.
Hi, my name is Arita Clemens. I am a civil engineer. I chose to become a civil engineer because I like helping people better their lives every day. I graduated from the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa. I currently work for the Alabama Department of Transportation, better known as ALDOT, as a rail programs manager, managing the safety at all public crossings in the state. A part of that safety is to ensure that there are safety mechanisms in place to help protect the public, motorists and pedestrians when they have an interaction with a railroad crossing. Some of the safety features that I would like to point out to you is some train rules. What is not safe? What is not safe is being on railroad tracks. You have to treat them as private property, so no trespassing. Stay off railroad cars and tracks. Is against the law. Don't play around railroads. They're very dangerous. Putting things on the tracks is also dangerous. It is not safe to walk between railroad cars when they are standing still because they can move at any time. Throwing items on trains is not safe as well. What are things that are safe at railroad crossings? Watch out for railroad signs. When you see the flashing light, the yield signs, or stop sign, respond to them accordingly. Stop at a stop sign, slow down at a yield sign, and when you see the lights flashing, stop altogether. Only cross at marked crossings. If you are on a bicycle, get off your bike and walk your bicycle across the crossing. Listen to the train whistles and horns. And if you are in a car stuck on a track, get out fast and get away. So when you're at a train crossing and you see a track, see tracks, think train, and be safe. Also get involved with STEM programs where you can work on different hands-on experiments and projects like robotics or electrical projects or building projects, any of those sorts, and never give up on your dreams. So as an engineer, it is very important to stay true to yourself and never give up on your dreams. Thank you.
Hey MPS family, my name is Mikhail Sabri. It's an honor to be with you today for your 5th annual Career Day Extravaganza. I'm the CEO and Clinical Director with Sabri Therapeutic Services, LLC, in which we specialize in providing counseling and therapy services to individuals, couples, and families. So, what briefly led to me being in my current job? So, while I was in my freshman year of college, I recall taking a psychology and sociology course, and I found myself having a passion for these more so than I did for other fields. When I initially started school, I thought I wanted to be a pharmacist or either a pediatrician. However, after getting further along in the coursework and learning more about other fields, and learning more about sociology and psychology, I recall having a conversation with my mother, and she mentioned, you may want to look into social work. So I recall going to one of the student organizations on campus that were a social work organization, and I was able to interact some with the other students that were already declared social work majors and some of the staff. And from there, I took an interest in social work. I decided from that moment that this was going to be the route that I was going to go. I always had a passion for helping people. And like I mentioned, I thought that I wanted to help in one particular realm as far as from the physician standpoint, but I decided that social work was more so of a better fit for me. All right, what schooling and experience did I have to go through for my current job? So in order to be in the current position that I'm in, I earned a Bachelor of Social Work degree, and I earned that from Alabama State University, go Hornets. And I also earned a Master of Social Work degree from Alabama A&M University. And after obtaining these two degrees, from there I had to pass licensure exams in order to be credentialed or certified to provide counseling and the therapy services that we provide here at Sabri Therapeutic Services, as well as be able to provide adequate supervision to those that may be in need of supervision. So when it comes to just kind of backtracking on the previous question, so I mentioned what led to my current job position, but as far as before I came into this particular role, I had to gain experience. So I couldn't you just can't come into private practice without actually gaining some level of experience. So I obtained my first job at the Jefferson County Department of Human Resources. This is located in Birmingham, Alabama. And after working there for approximately 2 years, I had an opportunity to be a part of the Birmingham VA Medical Center, where I also worked as a social worker for approximately 1 year. And after leaving the Birmingham VA Medical Center, I had the opportunity to transfer here locally to the Montgomery area to the Central Alabama Veterans Healthcare System. That's the VA in this area. And I remained there from about 2013 until 2018. So I was there about 5 years working as a social worker. So that was a part of the experiences that led me to where I am today in my career. So what role and skills are required for my current position? So as I mentioned earlier, I'm the CEO, meaning that I manage the business functions of the practice, and the clinical director, meaning that I assist in the management of assisting with the clinical issues that we may face when it comes to the work that we do, whether it be a practitioner having concerns with how to address a particular issue with a client, whether it be concerns about a client's mental health state during a particular time. As far as what does an average day look like for myself? So I would say in this particular field, it's kind of difficult at times to have a day that may be one and the same. Some days may start earlier than others. Some days may start later. Some days I may finish up earlier than others. That's usually not the case, but most days I may finish up around 6:30 or 7. And being in the role that I'm in, quite often I have to make sure that to some degree I'm available pretty much all the time. So whether it be during the week and even on the weekends, even though I may not get many calls or concerns that may be presented on the weekends, but being in a leadership position in any area that you may desire to work in, quite often you may have to find yourself being available during unconventional hours. So this is the case for those that may have an interest in entrepreneurship, or those that may have a future with working with a particular company. So I recall during my VA days, there were times where I had to work on Saturdays and sometimes work on Sundays and sometimes even work some late evenings. So this is just a part of being successful as you strive in whatever career field that you're interested in. Just like when you doing your schoolwork, you go to school during the daytime, but sometimes I'm sure if you're a successful student, which I know you are, you're having to stay up some nights late working on those papers or working on those assignments or even working on the weekends to get the job done. So it's the same once you move into your career field after high school, after college, etc. All right, so what's the best part of my job? So the best part of what I do, I believe, is being able to see individuals that, of course, as I mentioned, I wish there wasn't a need for what we do here with our agency, because a lot of times, individuals are coming to us because they have experienced some sort of pain, whether it be trauma, whether it be grief due to the loss of a loved one, whether it be dealing with some type of adjustment issues. But typically when people come to us, it's usually some discomfort that they're experiencing. But the beauty in what we do is actually working with the individuals from that point, from point A, and assisting them getting all the way to the point where they actually feel better. So seeing an individual that may be disheartened or be in a state where they may find themselves feeling depressed more so often, to being able to have a fulfilling and a happy life. So that's one of the most beautiful parts about what I enjoy about my current job. So the hardest part about what I do. So I would say the hardest part about what I do at times is sometimes, depending on the individual, sometimes we may work with certain individuals that may not see that there's a need to change. So with that being the case, it's almost like wanting something more for someone than they may want for themselves, and that's only because they may not be in that state of change where they see that there is a need for change. So I would say that's just one of the hardest part of my jobs, seeing that there's a need for someone to change, but unfortunately they don't see that need is there, and as a result of that, they have to make decisions that may not be the best decisions, that could make their lives difficult until they're able to see otherwise. All right, so long-term career goals. So when it comes to long-term career goals at this point in my career, I've been in the field of social work for approximately 10 years now. So I would say long-term career goals that I have for myself would be to continue to be able to grow, to help other people as a team. I strongly believe that in order to help more people, it's important to have a good, solid, qualified team to assist with helping as many people as possible. And another big part of one of the career goals that I'm interested in, more so long term, is actually establishing some form of a nonprofit. At this point, I'm not sure exactly what I want the nonprofit to assist with, as far as what service to provide, but I do have an idea of the population that I would like it to serve, and that's the population of those that unfortunately may be in foster care. So I have a heart for those that are in foster care. So I definitely would like to do something in the future surrounding assisting those in need that happen to be in foster care and just need that extra support. All right, so what advice would I give to students in finding a career that they love? So one of the things that I would recommend, and I can say this just looking back on my own experiences, is that it'll definitely be helpful if you start doing some research. You know, if you're in high school, which you are, if you're seeing this video, definitely start looking into different fields now. So, of course, you live in the age of Google. You can Google. You can speak with some of the teachers in your schools and let them know what your interests are. They may be able to connect you with someone that can possibly come to the school and speak about the field that they're in. If you have family members that may be in the field that you're interested in, go ahead and start having those conversations with them now. If you're not sure what they do, talk to them, ask them what they do, and find out more about what they do to determine if there's something that you're interested in. But I would say definitely start making you a list of some options regarding careers that you may be interested in versus waiting until you get into college and trying to figure it out in that moment. All right, what advice would I give to students for an interview? So when it comes to an interview, the first advice I'm going to give you all is take your resume. You want to make sure that you have a professional resume created, and you want to make sure you bring your resume. And I share that based off of my experience. I had to learn, and I'm sure as you talk to your teachers and the staff at school who have had success, they'll let you know that they've learned through some errors that they may have made. So I recall one of my biggest errors that I made was my first job interview out of college, and I didn't have a resume. And this was brought up by the individual that did the interview. So that's one of the first things that I would recommend. And another important thing, there's many important components to interviewing. You want to make sure that you're professionally dressed. So you want to make sure that you're professionally dressed. You want to make sure that you have a resume, and you also want to even practice before you actually go to the interview, whether you practice with somebody else that you know or practice in the mirror. But you can easily go online, and if you Google, interviewing tips, you'll find a list of some highly recommended tactics that you want to have as you prepare for that interview, for that position. So the interview is a huge part, of course, of getting the job. The resume is one piece, but how you interview and your ability to answer the employer's questions hold great weight as well. So, job outlook on my profession. So, in the field of social work, the opportunity for jobs is predicted to grow. So, this is definitely a field where if you decided that you wanted to be a social worker, in most cases, you wouldn't have an issue with obtaining a job. And a key to being a person that has the best chances of getting a job in this particular field is ensuring that you get that license that I mentioned. So that license is so valuable. So if you're interested in becoming a social worker, as I mentioned earlier, throughout this video, you definitely want to make sure that you get a license. So and with that, you can find a job in various places, whether it be in a hospital setting, whether it be in a school setting. There are so many opportunities in the field of social work, and I can go on and on and on. But I definitely hope that you at least consider this particular field. There's a great need, and if you have a kind heart and you enjoy helping people and you want to learn the science to being able to help, I definitely recommend the field of social work to you. As I stated as I began this video, it was an honor to be a part of NPS's 5th annual Career Day Extravaganza. I wish you the best, and I wish you much success in whichever field you choose to endeavor. Take care.
Hello, everyone. I'm Myron McNair.
I'm Alicia McNair.
And we're so happy to be here with you today.
Yes, we bring you greetings from Maryland, the great Prince George's County of Maryland.
The DMV.
Yes. So we just wanted to tell you all a little bit about our career choice and some intricate details about it. And I'll let Myron start.
Sure. So I am an employee and labor relations advisor. I work at Prince George's County Public Schools.
And I am a senior program auditor, and I work for the National Archives and Records Administration in the Office of Inspector General.
So, Alicia, what led you to your current job?
So, the thing that led me to my current job is I knew when I was in college I wanted to be an auditor. And so my career started in public accounting. So needless to say, I received an accounting degree from Alabama State University. Go Hornets. So that's what led me to my career choice, knowing that I wanted to be in a profession that would steer change. And so in my profession, we pretty much review how people are spending money or doing different things with government funds, and looking to seek if there's any fraud, waste, and abuse, and also just looking to see if programs are operating as intended and efficiently. So are they utilizing their resources the best way they should? And Myron, what led you to your career choice?
Sure, you answered the first three questions, but let me go into it. So with me, so I actually did not expect to go into human resources or employee and labor relations. In my head, I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to run my own business. So I was actually getting my master's, my MBA, and I started working in human resources. And then I got a finance position. I thought I'm about to get my master's, my MBA in finance. Why don't I go into accounting? And I hated it. I hated it. I was doing it while I was working in human resources, and I grew to love it. Just being able to help management as well as the employees really come to an understanding.
We're back. So we like to start back by going into what is an average day like in our careers. And so I'll let Myron start it off.
Oh, man. So I don't have an average day. With employee and labor relations, it's never a dull moment. It's a different day every single day. One day I might be given some sort of performance management training. One day I might be discussing a letter of reprimand or termination. It varies depending on what's going on. We have no busy, there is no busy season in my department or what I do. So it's one of the reasons why I do love what I do, because it's always something new. It's exciting. Another reason why I love what I do is I feel like our department, my job, is really one of the main components of an organization that really helps it run. Without performance management, without providing supervisors those tools to provide to their employees to help them really maximize the output of their unit, their department, organization would not be as successful as some of them are. The downside, I would say, because I do have a heart, would be like terminations and layoffs, which they happen all the time. So I would say I am used to it, but still sometimes it's like, man, someone doesn't know they're going to lose their job tomorrow or next week or in a month from now.
Mm-hmm. So if I'd have to describe an average day, I think I'd have to piggyback off Myron. I really don't have an average day of work. Some of my work days could include me going out to a yard or a field to count tires to ensure an organization has what they say is on their books. So just doing that verification. And then it could be me writing reports or communicating to management what I'm finding. So I don't necessarily have an average day, and there are ebbs and flows in the work that I do. So like Myron, there is no typical busy season in the work that I do now, but no day is identical. So I enjoy that because I don't have to wake up in the morning and say I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and that 1, 2, 3 is the same every day. So if I had to go into what would be challenging in my work, it would be that communication of finding things that are not the best, or communicating that I'm finding things that are not positive in the work that I'm doing. And so sometimes I have to communicate bad news to employees or managers about their operations. But in that same breath, that gives me an opportunity to provide a recommendation, which is the positive part for me. And that's the most rewarding part of my job, is when I see change happen. So when I'm finding things that may need improvements, I'm also recommending ways to make those improvements. And then when I see those changes, it's very rewarding for me from it. And in my work, typically, it's reporting, and so when I see that finished product and I see it in black and white and it's posted to a website, or someone communicates they read something that I worked on, it's like, man, I'm really making change, or someone is interested in the work that I'm doing. And so those are that would be the challenge and the rewarding piece. So I think the next question that we wanted to answer, or some advice we wanted to provide in terms of how do you love your career choice? I'll start that one off. And I just think that one way you can love your career choice or love what you do is to try to continue to learn in your profession. And that means taking on challenging opportunities, taking on the work that no one else wants to do, but also honing in on becoming an expert at what you do. So if there's a training opportunity, don't pass that up. If there's an opportunity for you to meet someone in your field, don't pass that up. There's so much knowledge and experience in people that I think sometimes individuals might not seek those individuals for all the wisdom that they have. So I would just say to hone in on your craft, become an expert, and just continue to learn at your craft and be open to opportunities, even if they appear to be challenging.
I agree 100%. The only thing I'll add is never give up. Keep working hard. Days get hard. You might have a supervisor you don't like. You might have coworkers you don't like. An environment you don't like. You want to just keep at it. I see far too often, especially unfortunately younger people, they get to a job and they say, "Oh, I don't like this job. I'm just going to quit," without having some sort of backup plan, without really knowing if this is the path for them. You're not always going to like your job. You're not always going to like your supervisor. You're not always going to like your coworkers. I would just say stick with it until something better comes. Like me and Alicia, our end goal is to be owners, business owners, but we're not going to stop what we're doing to just go pursue that dream, which some people do that, and more power to them. Yes. We're just not in a position to do that. One of my models that I always like to think about is kids do what they want, but adults do what they have to do. I think that's really resonating with me as an adult, because we do have kids, we do have bills, we do have obligations. And just in fulfilling those obligations and working, we fortunately found something we love to do. So I would just say stick with it. Just work hard. Stick to that grind.
Yeah. So that concludes our session. We appreciate the opportunity to share our careers with you all. So thank you. Thank you, Cheryl, for allowing us to share. We love you.
Shout out to Cheryl. What up?
Or Counselor Whetstone.
Oh, Counselor Whetstone. My bad.
Thank you. Bye. Because my work is the result of that change. And so for me, it is one of the most positive things that I could take away from it. And in my work, typically it's reporting, and so when I see that finished product and I see it in black and white and it's posted to a website, or someone communicates they read something that I worked on, it's like, man, I'm really making change.
Hello everyone, I hope you all are having a great day, and I'm really excited and honored to be able to share this moment with you all. My name is Jamar Sanders, and I'm a professional basketball player. I knew really early that basketball was my passion. When I was 12 years old, and I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, I didn't grow up in a traditional home with mom and dad, and my cousin and my aunt did an amazing job of raising me, but in the back of my mind, I had a little small sense of frustration. And with this frustration and with this energy, I would just play basketball all day. I would practice, I would play basketball till sun up to sundown, and I would love it. It gave me peace. It was my happy space. And from that point, I knew that basketball would be my career because of how much I enjoyed it. And after college, you couldn't tell me that I wasn't getting drafted. I just knew I was getting drafted, but it didn't happen. I didn't get drafted, but I stayed focused. I stayed determined. I kept practicing and I ended up playing for the San Antonio Spurs and the Milwaukee Bucks. And although I didn't get drafted, I still somewhat made my dreams come true. And that opportunity led to other opportunities. I've played in Greece, I've played in Germany, in Turkey, and I'm currently playing in Italy right now. I think some of the skills that you need to have in order to become a professional basketball player, other than the God-given ability, I think is really simple. It's this acronym that I love, and you can apply it to your career of choice, whether you want to be a doctor, whether you want to be a lawyer, policeman, whatever. The acronym is DREAM, D-R-E-A-M. The D stands for dedication. The R stands for responsibility. The E stands for education. The A stands for attitude. And the M stands for motivation. And of these, I think, to me, the most important one is attitude, because too often we allow people to affect our attitude. Only you have control of your attitude. You determine how you see things. You determine what affects you. So you have to protect your attitude because it's the most important thing to me, I think. The best part to me about being a professional basketball player is traveling the world. I get to travel the world. I get to see different cultures. I get to try different foods. I get to see places that I never imagined seeing, and all while doing what I love to do, which is playing basketball. The hardest thing about being a professional athlete is I'm away from my family extended period of times because I have to spend so many hours practicing, because I have to spend so many hours traveling. I'm not able to spend as much time with my family as I would like, and that's really hard for me because I'm a very family-oriented person. The average day for me, I usually wake up maybe 7:30. I make sure I meditate first for like 10 minutes just to clear my mind and prepare for the day, because the day is very demanding on my body, so I have to be prepared for it. I wake up and I have practice at 9 a.m. For 3 hours, and then I have to try to recover. I have to try to fuel my body and rest and recover, because I have another practice in the afternoon for another 3 hours. So it's a total of 6 hours that I have to practice. So it's very demanding on my body. So that meditation in the morning is very important to get through my day. And a piece of advice for any of you following, your career path, I would say just explore. Don't put yourself in a box. You don't know what you like until you try it. So, try everything. Try different things. Even if you don't think you would like it, try it anyway. If you don't like it, now you know you don't like it. And once you find that one thing that you really enjoy, that really brings you peace, look up other successful people that has done what you're trying to do, and look what they've done to become successful, and learn from their mistakes as well, so you can avoid making those same mistakes. And lastly, I would say, when you guys enter into a job interview, make sure that you're on time. Better yet, be early, because the saying is, if you're on time, you're late. So be early. And when you're early, it allows you to relax. It allows you to slow down and think about the task at hand. You have to dress appropriately, be confident, and know your strengths and know your weaknesses. And, I wish you all the best in choosing your career, and good luck with everything. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm LaShondra Petway. I am the engineering supervisor at Alabama Power Company in the Clanton Engineering Office. I've been working for Alabama Power since 2011. I started as an intern, and I was hired full-time with the company in 2013. I graduated from Alabama A&M University, go Bulldogs, with a degree in civil engineering. So I know some of you may be wondering, why are you working for the power company if you're a civil engineering major? Well, Alabama Power does take different disciplines of engineering, and they have a very vigorous training program to teach you to do their job. So no matter your degree, you're going to go through that same process in learning their job. So the three primary disciplines they hire for is electrical, mechanical, and civil. Those are the three types of engineering that you'll see that will work in the distribution and transmission side of Alabama Power Company. So the basis of what I do now versus what I did before, and I will kind of give you a background on both of those. Right now, my main focus is as supervisor is to develop my employees, make sure I have an overall plan on like paths that I'm moving in as far as the office, like where are we going from this year to next year? That's my plan, is to look at the bigger picture and to develop my employees to be the best engineers that they could possibly be, and help to mold and guide them into their next career move. So that's the basis of what I do now. It's a lot of management, and then I'll tell you a little bit about even storm restoration and my role in that. But my role before, I worked in distribution support, and so mainly what I did is I worked with electronic devices on our systems. It was a hands-on job. I loved it. I'm a DIY girl. I love anything that's hands-on. I like to take things apart, put them back together, reimagine them. And that's what I got to do in that role. I got to troubleshoot issues when electronic devices were not working on our system. I was able to program those. I was able to actually put some of them together and take them apart to try to figure out what's wrong. It was an awesome job. It was a great job, and I got to travel a lot as well, because I spent most of my time in my truck, and in my Alabama Power truck, just riding around the state, trying to fix issues. So that's what I did on my previous job. And I'll tell you a little bit about an electronic device. So we have things on our system called reclosers. And if you ever notice during a storm, you'll notice your lights flicker a couple of times. And sometimes it flickers, but it never goes out. Well, that's because if we didn't have those electronic devices on the system, your power would go out. But what it was probably just a temporary fault. And something that we consider a temporary fault is a branch that just lays across the line and it comes off. Or, I don't know, something that falls onto the line and then the wind blows and knocks it off. That's a temporary fault. But if a tree falls on the line, takes that line out, that's what we call a permanent fault. That's when you'll see your lights flicker for like 3 times in a row, and on that 4th time it won't come back, because that's our system operating and doing what it's supposed to do. So it'll go out. But if it's just a temporary fault, you may see it flicker for a few times, but it never go out, because when it opens and closes and open and closes, it's given that temporary fault enough time to clear off the line so that it can close back in on it and stay on. And I know that's a lot, but that's the best way I know how to explain it. I love what I do. This job was completely different from what I thought I would be doing as far as a career path, but honestly, I was a little burnt out in school on the civil part of things. So when I got this opportunity and I had this internship, it really renewed and regenerated the love that I have for just science and technology and all these things that have always interested me. And so, and look, here I am now, almost 10 years later. I can't believe time goes by so fast. I feel like I just literally graduated from high school. So, so my average day in the district office was basically me pulling tickets to see, what type of orders that I had come in every day. So it may be, hey, you're building a home, so I go out to your home to see how I can serve you power. So that may mean me extending the main line, putting a few poles in your yard to be able to get to your house, to serve your house, or to go underground. Whatever the customer wants is what we give the customer. Lighting orders, maintenance on the system, and a big part of things is storm restoration. And that's what I just spent the last 7 days doing. We worked over 120 hours. We had, in my area in Clinton, we had over 150 broke poles, about 2,700 spans of wire down, and we were pushed up against a 7-day deadline. We had to get it on. So my job in that was to use all of our crew resources, keep them moving, and keep them efficient so that we can get the lights on the shortest amount of times. Because, hey, again, we are the power company, so we're not making money. If meters are not running, we're not making money. So we want to get your power back on as soon as we can. And sometimes that means that we also help other utility companies. We help with Hurricane Laura. I was able to travel to Louisiana as well as Texas for about 3.5 weeks, where we worked 16-hour days for 3 weeks straight, no off days, to help them restore power after the hurricane. Now, that, if I had to say the most challenging part of my job, that is the most challenging part of my job. It's fine when these storms are spaced out, but when they're a back-to-back constant thing and you're constantly having to rearrange your life and uproot and leave your family, it's hard. And you're not working in the most favorable conditions after a storm. Most times I slept in my truck for a whole week when I was in Texas because I didn't want to sleep in tents. It's things like that. But when you receive the checks from storm restoration, I want to tell y'all something. it's life changing. So it makes it worth it. You're able to have a great Christmas for your kids. You're able to renovating your house. Right now I'm getting me some brand new quartz countertops, y'all. I'm excited about it. But I encourage each of you on a serious note to really look into STEM. Right now minorities are slim in STEM fields, and if you look up the base incomes for a lot of these, what you would be making coming out of school compared to other majors, it's a huge deal. A lot of people don't want to talk about the money related to a career, but that's important. You know, what type of lifestyle do you want to live? Like, what do you want to be able to offer to your future family, or just yourself if you don't plan on having a future family? I have a beautiful home. Me and my husband, we have 2 kids, a 2-year-old and 7-year-old, and I'm able to do things for them that my mother was not able to do for me. We're able to travel the world with our children. My 7-year-old just told me he wanted to go to DC, and I'm gonna take my baby to Washington DC. So it's things like that you don't think about. But it's like, what type of lifestyle do you want? So when you're researching a career, don't think of something that's just easy to do and you feel like it won't be challenging. Anything in life worth having is going to be challenging. So do something that's worth doing. If you're going to get in debt, make sure you get in debt with something that's going to give you a good return. And this is one of these things. And if I have to say long-term goals, it would be where I am now as far as engineering supervisor. I eventually want to get to manager level. I would love to get up to maybe a level 9 or so with the company, no more than that, because I think my basis of family is very important to me. My family makes me happy. I don't think I look back on my career and really regret much of anything, but not spending that time with my family would be a big regret. And I'm just looking at the questions, y'all. And if I had to give you advice on interviews, be prepared. Have somebody to go through mock interviews with you. Think about your answers. Know your answers. Be authentic. Show character, because some people like to see you in those interviews, not this made up whoever, but do it in a professional way, if that makes sense. And then also finding a career that you love. Like, I feel like that is going to be something, it's worth juggling. That may mean that you have to go through a couple of companies or change your career path. Like, even right now with Alabama Power, I love my job, but I also want to do things outside of the company as far as real estate and other things. So I'm really trying to explore things that I'm really passionate about, interior design and things like that. So having those outlets, just hone in on what you're good at, figure that out, and kind of research, future career paths that you could, that can be profitable, that can provide you the lifestyle that you want for you, for your future family, whatever that may be, and just go for it. You're never going to be successful if you're scared to try something. I said when I went into engineering school, I remember saying this to my mom, I don't care how hard it is, I'm not changing my major. And I stuck by that. I had one class that I had to take over twice. It was just not clicking for me, that one class, but I did it, and I graduated with over a 3.0 GPA and with a job offer. And it's just putting your mind to it. And if anybody has any questions for me, I'll make sure that I've leaked my contact information so that you guys can reach out to me. I would love to help y'all with resumes and whatever else y'all need help with. I'm very passionate about moving us forward, and so If y'all have any questions, reach out to the organizer and they'll have my information so that y'all can reach out to me. And I hope y'all I pray and hope for much success for each and every one of you in the future. And again, I look forward to seeing what y'all will be and become. And also, I forgot that I think my soror is organizing this event. I am also a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So, be involved when you go to school, because that's very important too. And just being able to branch out and to network is a key, and it could open a lot of doors for you in the future. So I hope y'all have a great rest of the 2020, and good luck.
Hello, I'm Mr. JaQuincy Ponder, and I'm assistant principal at Robert E. Lee High School. Currently, I'm responsible for assisting 10th grade students as well as the teachers that instruct them. I was led to this position because of my desire to assist students in reaching their greatest potential. As a classroom teacher, I was successful as positively inspire my students to succeed despite any obstacles encountered. Therefore, I wanted to instill that same motivation and drive to the masses. In order to become an assistant principal, I had to first earn a Bachelor's of Science degree in education. My specific focus was elementary education. After 3 years of successful teaching, I enrolled in a master's program to complete my studies in instructional leadership. Upon obtaining my degree and certification in instructional leadership, it afforded me the opportunity to become an assistant principal. In the near future, the same certification will afford me the opportunity to serve as a principal. In my role as assistant principal or instructional leader, I'm solely responsible for students enrolled in the 10th grade at Robert E. Lee High School. I have a duty and a responsibility to ensure that the instruction the students receive is purposeful and their academic needs are being met. Additionally, I have a duty and responsibility to make sure that all students are safe throughout the day. An average day for me starts at about 5:30 a.m., where I begin by checking emails. Upon arriving to the building around 6:45 a.m., I assume the position of morning duty, and I'm normally on morning duty till about 7:45. After the completion of morning duty, I continue to follow up on emails, meet with the leadership staff as needed, and return phone calls. Additionally, I conduct classroom observations and the part of the job that is least favorable, dealing with discipline problems. The major function of my day is to ensure the safety of the students in the building so that students can learn in an environment that is free of distractions. The best part of my job is being able to form and foster positive relationships with colleagues, students, parents, and community members. In order for our schools to be successful, it requires the input and assistance of all stakeholders. The part of the job that is most difficult is having to make decisions that won't be favorable for all parties involved, or having to discipline the students for the poor decisions they've made. Currently, I'm enrolled in a doctoral degree granting program to obtain a Doctor of Education degree in educational leadership, policy, and law. I expect to be done in a year, and post-completion, I aspire to become a principal and eventually start my own institution of learning. My advice to students in finding a career that they love is to do what it is that you truly have a passion for. Don't choose a career based upon the financial benefits, but because the career choice allows you to fulfill your purpose in life. There are many of people who chose professions because of the benefits, but they were rich and depressed, and had no real sense of fulfillment for their true purpose. The advice that I would give students for an interview is to be prepared. Study the job and the expectations and formulate responses based upon what employers are seeking. Be professional and look the part. Show the potential employer that you already have an interest in the organization and hiring you would be an asset to the organization. Lastly, the job outlook for my profession is that there will always be a need for strong educators, especially instructional leaders. However, due to COVID-19, there's already a shift in education, and honestly, it's impossible to predict what the job outlook may be for the next 5 years. Nonetheless, our children deserve educators that are willing to adapt and to teach to fidelity despite any unforeseen challenges. Thank you. Have a great day.
Hi, I am Diana S. Gray, coming to you to share my story and journey as an entrepreneur, owning 2 businesses, Montgomery Arts Academy and Diana S. Gray Business Consulting Services here in Montgomery, Alabama. I started my journey as a young teenager, aged 17 years old, a junior in high school. Thanks to my mom, she found 7 students for me to teach piano. So every Saturday morning, I would get up and I will go where the students were at their local church and I would teach them piano. Can you believe I am still doing that same job? But just, in my location, that is. After high school, I decided to go to college and I wanted to graduate and get a degree in music education so I could be a choral teacher in Montgomery Public School System. And so I did. So I went to Huntington College, majored in music education, choral music, got a job. My first school was at McKee Middle School, and my second school that I taught at was at Lanier High School. I did that for 12 and a half years. But as time went on, the fun kind of wore off. I couldn't make any more money, even though we had lots of fun with field trips and performing and traveling. I just wanted to do much more. I wanted more freedom. And the school system didn't allow me to do that. Let me just say, the job did not allow me to do that. So I decided to gain my freedom by taking my after-school music program and turning it into a full-time music academy that is known as Montgomery Arts Academy. So 4 years ago, I decided to quit my job and become a full-time business owner. That means I work for myself all day long. That means that I have other music teachers on staff that works for me and help me teach music lessons. And I hire them and I pay them. And with my business consulting services, I'm able to help other business owners to develop and grow their businesses. How exciting it is. You see, when I was a music teacher in the school system, I only made $53,000. That was the max pay. That's as much as I could make at that time. But in the past 4 years, I was able to triple my income, my take-home income, that is. So of course I make much, much more money. I didn't give up on it. I still went back to school. I still got my education specialist degree from Liberty University, and I'm currently working on my doctorate degree. I love educating myself and I love teaching others. That's my passion. So just to let you know, hopefully I'll be graduating with the title Dr. Diana S. Gray in May of 2021. Again, I did not receive that pay raise on the job. Again, I did not receive that promotion that I always wanted as a school administrator or even becoming a school principal. So I took that same energy and I placed it with my own business, Montgomery Arts Academy. And so now I am my own principal. Now I can create my own pay scale that I want to be at. It's just a wonderful thing. I have full control. I know the days that I want to work. I can even take vacation days as I want to. But I want to tell you that being your own boss requires a lot of discipline. So getting up early, going to the office, making sure you're doing all your work before, during, and after work hours is very, very important. I surely can easily sleep in any day of the week that I want to. But if I want to be successful, I need to get up and do the work. So being your own boss requires you to work even harder because you are accountable for yourself and to others. As a business leader, I'm able to go to different meetings. I'm able to conduct trainings. I'm able to even appear on television and do TV interviews and other media platform interviews, such as magazines. And I've been on a lot of social media live stream broadcasts. And I wasn't able to do that when I was a classroom teacher. So being my own boss is a wonderful thing. I love being my own boss, but of course, it is one of the hardest things. Remember, you have to be disciplined. Now, my long-term goal is to retire within the next 15 to 20 years as a multimillionaire. And I want to give my business to my only niece that I have at this moment, because I don't have any children. So I would like for her to inherit all of the things that I worked really hard for, and she can have total control, and she wouldn't have to go to work on a job just like I did. She's able to work the business herself and still get paid. Today, I want to encourage you to do what I did. Go to school, get an education. However, you need to discover what you're passionate about. I was passionate about teaching. I love to teach. I love helping others. And so I took my passion of teaching, monetized it, and now I am working in something that I love to do while making pretty good money. Much more money than I would be making on any teaching job at this day and time. Find what you're passionate about. Get educated in it. Whether it's going to school or surround yourself with webinars, trainings, going to conferences, maybe your trade, maybe you'll go to a trade school. Whatever you love to do, get educated in it, get grounded in it, gain a lot of knowledge in it, because in this world and in this society, there's a lot of competition. And your secret weapon is knowledge. If you want to learn more about my story, visit me at dianasgray.com, and you can follow me on my social media platforms. I hope that you will discover your passions and, of course, stay in education and get educated in what you're passionate about and turn your passions into money. Thanks for listening, and I hope you find great success in life, and I wish you well as you make your decision about your career. God bless.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Ben Reed, and I am a school administrator, and it's my privilege today to be able to share with you a little bit about what that career looks like. One thing I want to start by doing is just telling you a little bit about where I live and work. I'm at Newton High School in Newton, Kansas, and as you can see from the Google map there, we are just shy of 14 hours driving distance away from one another, but I have a good friend, Miss Gooden, who works there in your schools, and who I was very excited to have an invitation from her to be able to share this with you today. So shout out to Miss Gooden, and she's a phenomenal teacher, and I know you all are going to do great things. And so I'll begin by telling you a little bit more about myself. I am a high school assistant principal, and one of the things that comes along with that job is you wear a lot of different hats. There's not really just one thing that you do. And so my primary role is to be the Career and Technical Education Director. So as you get older, you're going to start to see there's some students that go more of the college track, And there are some students that go into more of the career technical job force track. And so I help those students who go more down the career and technical pathway. And so we offer things here like automotive mechanics, welding, machining. We have an agricultural pathway here where students can get hands-on experience. There's construction, all the way to more of the business side of things where you've got entrepreneurship and marketing, and even some of those IT and networking skills. And so there's lots of opportunities here at our high school. So there's really a place for everybody. And so that's one of the most exciting things that I do here and help supervise. So our students really have a good understanding of what they want to do when they leave high school once they're finished here. But I didn't just get here by an easy track. I tried lots of different jobs. All the way, I had my first job when I was 14. So I've done everything from mowing lawns, I picked peaches, I worked in the restaurant business, I was a lifeguard, I've been a sports referee, and those are really just to name a few. It wasn't until I got to college that I really started to think seriously about what I wanted to do. And I took one of those career assessments, which I'm sure you will do, and it came up with three things. I was either, it really showed me that I had an interest in education, law enforcement, or ministry. And at some point in my life, I've done all three, but I really focused my degree track on education, and I'm really glad that I did. So in order to be a building principal, and I think I'll talk about this a little bit later, but as far as degrees go, you have to have an undergraduate degree in education. Mine happens to be in middle school science and math. And then I went and pursued a master's degree later on, and that was in building leadership so that I could become a principal. And so those are going to be just two of the basic education requirements that you would need to become a school administrator someday. Here's a little bit more about the job info. Building administration, it is not for everybody. Some people really enjoy it, and some people would never want to do it. But I think there's three critical things you have to, have and or develop, and that is service, having a teachable spirit, and being a positive role model and leader. So I'll start with service. I'm a big believer in servant leadership, and so you've got to be willing to go above and beyond to really support your staff and teachers along with the students and families in your community. And that takes a lot of time and energy, but the results are well worth it. Another thing is a teachable spirit. You can't think that you know it all. I learn something new every day, whether it's from a teacher, from a student, or maybe from reading. So you've got to be willing to grow and have that growth mindset to expand your learning and understanding of the world around you. Another thing is you need to be a positive role model and leader. You really set the tone for the students and staff that you help and supervise as well. And so making sure that you're modeling those positive behaviors as well as giving them a vision and something and rallying around them to help them complete that vision as a leader. Another thing is there's really no such thing as a typical day in the life of a school administrator. If you go talk to your principal or maybe assistant principal at your school, I think they'd tell you the same thing. You might have some things on your calendar, but ultimately, again, part of that servant leadership, you're willing to drop everything to go help those who are in need. And so really it changes. Sometimes you're in the office a little bit, maybe getting some paperwork done or working with students. Another time you're maybe walking through classrooms and seeing what's going on out in the building. So it really can change on a daily basis. But there's some really rewarding things about being a high school administrator or school administrator. One of those things is student successes. I just was speaking with a group of students yesterday who are actually going to end up graduating early, and that's because they really planned out their courses well and were really intentional about finishing things on time, and now they're reaping those rewards by being able to be done in January instead of May. But there's other little successes too. Maybe it's a student who hasn't been successful in school before, but now that they are, and being able to watch that turnaround and seeing those students now be on a track to either going to college or pursuing a career or technical education is just something that can't be matched. One of the most difficult things about being a school administrator and just in education in general is balancing responsibilities. And for me, that comes with family time. I love what I do, and I can really get consumed in what I do. And so it's important for me. I have a wife and 4 boys at home, And so that's one thing when you're considering a career in education, there are sometimes a lot of after hours commitments. And so that's something to really be mindful of and have a plan on how you can both balance your professional life at school, but also your personal life at home. And seeking good counsel for people who have done it before is also really benefit, so you can see how they've done it and really make that work for them. Here's just a few personal thoughts that I wanted to go through. One is personal future goals. My ultimate goal is to continue down the road of education. I'd like to pursue my doctorate degree within the next 5 years, and then seek a role in district leadership, and ultimately one day possibly even being a superintendent or doing some education consultant across the country would be a big dream of mine. When you are thinking about your career, whether it's in education or somewhere else, I would just strongly encourage you to take advantage of this time that you've been given to explore lots of different career opportunities. And be open to maybe some things that maybe haven't been accepted in tradition in the past. So, for instance, one thing I work on here is helping maybe non-traditional students get into career fields. So like welding. Traditionally, there have not been many women in welding, but we've really started to advertise that this year, that this is a career field for women as well. If it's something you're interested in, we have an opportunity for you. Same thing with nursing. We have some nursing classes, and typically those are only girls or females go to that class. Well, we really want to help provide that. That's a perfectly acceptable and awesome career for guys too. And so really helping those non-traditional fields get some exposure. So for you, if you're interested in something, go pursue it, go check it out, because you might find that it's what you've been looking for. For interview tips, we actually do quite a bit of interviewing here as a school administrator. So one thing, no matter what job it is, dress professional. That's going to be key. Also, make sure that you give a good handshake, make eye contact, and know something about the job that you're looking for. So for instance, when I was applying for this job at Newton High School, I looked at the Newton High School website. I learned a little bit about what they had going on, what their programming was, what the data was for how students were succeeding. So then in your interview, you ask some of those questions about that. And that shows your employer that you're informed and that you know a little bit about them, are really interested and genuinely interested in working for them. And that's going to be really impressive. The education job outlook, I think, is strong. It is a field that not as many people are going into, so there are lots of openings. And of course, we would love to see the salary and pay increase, and I think over time, we'll start to see teachers compensated for the work that they have been doing and what they deserve. And so I think it's good. I think it's going to be a growing field. And especially career and technical education that I'm focused on, there's going to be lots more opportunities for that. So it's very promising, and I think there's going to be a lot of job opportunities in the next 10 to 15 years once you all are out and graduated and ready to join the workforce. So again, thank you so much for allowing me to be able to be a part of today. I got my mailing address, that's here at the school, my phone number, email. If you have any other questions, please contact me. I'd be happy to help. So thank you for listening, and I hope if you're interested in education, this has helped provided you some direction.
Greetings, everyone. On behalf of myself, the professional school counselor of Catoma Elementary School, the students and staff, we'd like to thank you for the time you freely shared with us to make our students aware of your occupation. You are commended for your role in helping us inform our students of today about the world of work. The information you gave to students was excellent and up to date. Even more importantly, it came from someone whom they recognize as real-life professionals. This opportunity helps young people broaden their horizons and realize they may utilize this information with their particular talents in many ways. We know that your virtual presence made a difference to our students, and it's good to know the community's commitment to our youth includes sharing time and expertise with them. And hopefully on next year, you'll be right here with us here at Catoma Elementary in person. I also would like to extend a big thank you to our school principal, Ms. Mary Markham, our school council advisory committee members, Catherine Smith, our accountability interventionist, and our so awesome district technology instructor, Mr. Stephen Walker, for your support in pulling off this 5th annual Career Day Extravaganza virtually so that students will be able to explore a variety of professional careers that will embark on in their near future. Again, thank you for your virtual participation in our Career Day Extravaganza for the 2020 school year.